This is your official Sector Trends. Good morning. We have a very interesting conversation for you this morning. But just before I introduce the guest who's in the studio with us, let me introduce this. We are talking matters, the benefit of reading books and how the culture can be inculcated in most people. Well, in the studio today, we're joined by Wendy Njoroge, who's the co-founder of Somatomy Books. Wendy, how are you doing?
I'm fine, thank you.
Let me begin from a very basic point for this conversation, because we want to make it as enjoyable and relatable as it can to most people. Somatomy, who are you? What are you?
So Somatomy, we have a very interesting genesis story, and as the Swahili name suggests, Somatomy, so it's an invitation to read with us. So we started out as a book club, and over time, we started out in 2018. Over time, we were not able to get the books that we wanted to get. So we have evolved naturally into being a bookstore. And our bookstore lives for one simple reason: to provide the books that we want to read and others readers want to read. So primarily, those are books by Africans, by Kenyans, and written by women or of the African diaspora.
Yes.
So those stories we find that we relate to more and that reflect our realities in lives.
Pretty much.
Yes.
I like how you say that you wanted some books, but then you could not find those books.
Yes.
Then you said, let's come up with a bookstore that will have the books that we actually need.
Yes.
Is that where the business idea came from?
Yes.
To actually coming up with this bookstore?
Yes, actually we started out as a book club. It was never supposed to be a business.
Yes.
And it has evolved into now a business, and other readers, they've been very responsive, because we started out as an online store on www.somatomy.co.ke.
Yes.
And that was in February of this year. But because of the overwhelming support that we've gotten from other readers and the kind of diversity that we've been able to stock, naturally now we have been evolved into opening an actual physical store that launched a week ago.
Yes.
So, and the support has been great.
I like the way you say that the support has been great.
Yes.
And then you say this time duration that you actually decided to say, let's open it now, and you went online.
Yeah.
Did COVID work in your favor? Because then you found this shift of majority of people going online. Even the little most of the things that people would look for, they would go online to look for this. Did it work in your favor? It
actually did. Yes. Because at the book club, when COVID hit in 2020, our book club used to meet physically, so we were forced to meet online.
Yes.
So even when the store came online, we had already been meeting as a book club online, so it was a natural transition.
Pretty much.
Yes.
All right. Tell me the faces behind this book club, because it's a very interesting area as well.
Yeah.
Were you avid readers who decided to open it? How did you come together?
So the idea behind the bookstore is the brainchild of myself and my friend and partner called Modoni Morori. So both of us, we met in a book club setting.
Yes. And
also formed our own book club. So we've always connected in that sense.
It was a book club out of a book club.
Yes.
Yes.
And now a bookstore out of a book club.
Yes.
So she's a very, very avid reader. And myself, I try to read as much as I can. So our friendship and association has always been about books.
Yes.
So it's very natural that we had to come together and say, we want to read books by Africans, we want to read books written by women, we want to read books that reflect African and Kenyan realities, and we're not finding those books. They're not in mainstream bookstores. So that's how we
came up with this Somatomy.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to talk about the benefits of actually being in a book club, because we also want to see how we can inculcate that reading culture.
Yeah.
But let's go back a bit then. Is there a niche for these people? Is that what you're looking for? Because when you tell somebody, I want to get into this book business, someone's going to tell you, but books are everywhere. I mean, I don't need that. Or how am I going to know the books that people are actually looking for?
Yes.
How did you know that these are the books that people will be looking for?
I think naturally, being readers ourselves, we are coming from a point of information. So we are coming from a point of what do we as readers want to read. We want to read contemporary stories, we want to read stories by women, we want to read stories by Africans. And so we are coming from that point of view, and we know others like us who are also looking for such stories. But that is not what you find in the mainstream. Mostly you find books that are set in Europe, in America, and written by predominantly white men. And so they don't necessarily reflect the realities of us as modern day Kenyans. So yeah, I think there's a niche, and the market has proven that there's a niche because our store has started as an online store, and now has found a need to have a physical store.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
Somebody would ask you, why did you not keep it strictly an online store as opposed now to going into making it a physical store?
That's a very good question, and we've gotten that question previously.
Yes.
Why move from online when things seem to be moving online?
Isn't it when you start online and then you say, well, it's clicking online, so let's go physical.
Yes.
Rather stayed online.
Yes.
Yes.
The interesting thing that we found is that humans, we are still very social beings. Yeah, and there's a human connection that cannot be replaced by online.
Yes.
By an online channel.
Yes.
And that one is like having conversation with somebody, because at the store the most thing we do is recommendations. Like somebody they have an idea of what they want to read.
I see.
But that kind of connection of getting recommendations, understanding what they've read and enjoyed previously, so that you can recommend something in the line, or just what are they wanting to achieve, so that you recommend something. That kind of interaction can only happen in a physical setting.
Yes.
Yes.
So let me just get this. Mm-hmm. What happens in this physical store? And I want to ask that question from this perspective. Mm-hmm. Is that only when it comes to books? You know, we have a lot of e-books now online as well.
Yeah.
There's that intrinsic value of holding that book.
Exactly.
Is that what e-books can never compete with? And is that what these online platforms can never actually get to compete with?
I think you're right,
yes.
because e-books have been around for a really long time now.
Yes.
And I think when they first came on board, there was the fear that the physical book was going to die.
So there was that fear that even the publishing industry was now going to go downhill, isn't it?
Yes, but that hasn't happened.
Yes.
And I don't think it's going to happen. Yes, e-books exist for a legitimate reason, and they serve that need for when you need to carry something on the road. And but they cannot, there's something that the physical book gives you. There's a physical
I get it. You know, you're holding that book.
Yes, there's evidence that I'm actually reading, and this is happening.
Yes.
So that really just only happens with a physical book.
Yes.
So our store also we've also designed as a social space, because in addition to a bookstore, we have a space where readers can come and host their book clubs. An author can come and do a signing. So we are special in that way, that we are catering to a reader and everything that a reader might need. So because as a book club, again, we had the challenge of where to meeting spaces. So we'd go to restaurants sometimes, but at a restaurant, you know, it's not suited for people to make noise or have heated conversations, no? So we've had that in mind, that yes, Nairobi book clubs don't have a place that's specifically designed for them, and they are there, and the book clubs are many. And so we've made a sitting space, we've made an area where people can come and sit, be comfortable, have their conversations, and
pretty much. All right, now let me ask you, as we move closer then to why indeed a book club is very important for somebody who needs to inculcate that reading culture.
Yes.
is it then pointing to what? Knowing that for you to get into this business, you have to have a niche market. Is that what it is? That you have to identify that niche market for you to get into this business? Because it looks as if you identified your market.
Yes, I think, and that's true for any business.
Yes.
You cannot be satisfying everybody. You cannot be serving everybody.
You cannot be the me too.
Yes.
Kind of business, isn't it?
Yes. Yeah. You have to be serving one person or a certain type of person.
Yes.
And if you really understand that one person, then you're good, because you're able to cater to that kind of person.
Yes. So talk to me about the response that you've actually been able to see once you got this physical store as opposed to being online. Would you say that it has fully complemented your business?
Exactly, precisely. So we've had a lot of people come in. There's a lot of people have been very excited on social media. People that come into the store and they go and post on Twitter or Instagram saying you must check out Somatomy Books, because their range is, without exaggeration, that cannot be found anywhere in Nairobi.
Yes.
And that's true, because we have very many contemporary books. Yeah.
Pretty much.
Yes.
All right. Now, talk to me about what your plans are. Are you also now wanting to work directly with the authors as well? Because one of the biggest challenges that we have in the country as well when it comes to this specific industry is that you have people who can actually have books to sell by themselves, but you have to go to a publisher for you to actually get your books to go out as well. And that space is actually quite limited in the country.
Yes.
Is that a place that you want to explore, if indeed you are talking about authentic African writers?
Actually, that's a challenge that we've come across, and it's dear to our heart.
Yes.
The fact that the Kenyan publishing industry is not very well structured for non-academic writers. So if you're an academic writer, that's very easy. There are many big and well-established publishers that take care of that.
Yes.
But if you're writing, say, a motivational book or a novel or a thriller, it's not very clear where you should go in terms of getting your book out to the reader. So in our very own little way, because we are not a publishing house, in a very little way, we've said we really want to help writers, Kenyan writers, be discovered by readers, by Kenyan readers. So what we've done, we've sent out a call for books. So if you have a published book, whether you've self-published or you are published by somebody else, you can send us a review copy of your book.
Yes.
And we'll take a look at it, and if we feel like it's suitable for our readers, we'll stock it. We'll stock it and we'll tell our readers about you, because we know that really there's a big challenge for writers getting their work out. And you see, as a writer, you want to write. That is what you're best at. That's what you really want to do.
Yes.
You also don't want to be the one now publishing, printing, distributing, selling.
That whole channel.
Yes.
Yeah, it's something that disorients majority of the talented writers that we have in the country.
Precisely.
You got to think about the marketing, the distribution.
Yes, and how do you ship the product to the customer? And we're really well suited to complement a writer who's had their work out, because we have been online, so we are able to serve customers across the country, because we are able to ship throughout the country. We are offline, so if somebody wants to come and have a feel of your book, they are more than welcome to do that.
Pretty much.
Yes.
All right, now let's go back to the conversation that we really has gotten us here.
Yes.
Inculcating that reading culture.
Yes.
I would say I am a suspect myself when it comes to having a target and not actually being able to clear that target. I would say this month I want to read 2 books.
Yeah.
But then I end up reading 1 or 1.5, and then I'm like, next month.
Yes.
How do you inculcate a reading culture?
That's a very good question.
Yes.
And one, I would say that reading in a social setting, like what I've mentioned, like having a book club, really does help, because there's that social, I don't want to call it pressure, but there's that association, there's that support from other readers. So if your book club is saying we are reading 2 books, trust you'll try and read those 2 books, because there's a level of accountability from having other people go in that journey with you.
Yes, yes.
So that's why book clubs are really dear to us, and why we still maintain our book club. Our Somatomy book club is still there, and we only read one book a month, because we want to be cognizant of different people's spaces. Everybody reads at a different pace.
Yes.
And of course, we still have our real life situations to deal with. There's work, there's family, there's all the other things we are doing. So we understand that, yes, reading has to take only a fraction of your time. So a book a month, I think, is fair. Don't you think?
It's fair, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, they say it's fair.
Yes.
But then until you start reading, then you say it's quite a challenge.
Yes.
So can you tell us how you are able then to realize that everybody in the book club is actually gone through that book? Do you meet and start
Yes.
talking about the book?
Yes, so what we do is that we select a book at the beginning of the month and
Yes.
let all our members know. Our book club is open and free to all, actually, so this is an invitation for anybody who is looking for a book club. Feel free to join us. That's very easy. You go to our website, www.somanami.co.ke, and there's a link for book club. You leave us your details. We'll send you how you can join us, on what book we are reading. So we read one book a month, and at the end of the month, on the last Saturday of every month, we meet to discuss that book.
Isn't it?
Yes.
That's exactly how then you can know that whether somebody is read or not gone through the book.
Yes.
And how do you motivate such kind of characters? Because I know it's indeed true, you might find them.
Yes.
Yes.
So what I like to think of is not all books will resonate with all readers,
I see.
and that's okay.
Yeah.
So if you miss a couple, that's fine, because again, it's not supposed to be punitive.
Yes.
It's supposed to be, you're supposed to enjoy the journey. So if you miss a couple of books, that's fine. But the fact that you belong to this association, this book club, kind of gives you the momentum to keep going. Yeah. So, and then when you hear other people, how they enjoyed relating their experiences, that, you know, this character did this, there's that fear of missing out. You know, they call it
you
FOMO.
also want to contribute in that.
Yes,
Yes.
exactly.
Yes.
So there's that social aspect that keeps people going and keeps it cohesive.
The organization of this book club, I mean, the closest I've come to knowing exactly how book club is exactly what I watch on movies, when, sorry to say, white movies, where people get to sit and then ladies come over to each other's houses and then they start talking about the books.
Yes.
How do you go about organizing it? Because I was reading somewhere and said that there is the danger of having a really huge book club, and it beats the sense of making it intimate among the members themselves. So how do you go about making it quite intimate so that I feel like I belong somewhere, as opposed to being a tiny dot in a large organization?
That's a good point. Yes, I think there's a level, there's a size which defeats the purpose.
Yes.
Because then not everybody can get a word in. And there's also comfort in, like, numbers. So I wouldn't say that don't be too big, because there are people who thrive in the margins. The people who don't want to be put on the spot. They are okay to just come in and listen and leave without saying a word. And that's still fine, because we are all different personalities. But yes, there's a level, and I don't think we are too big yet. I think we still have room for other people. And because it's a natural attrition, there are people who will come and then life happens and then they are not able to continue. So there's always room for other members to join in. And so it's a living thing. People come, other people leave, and sometimes maybe other people have traveled. So the number stays same, even though there are people like moving in and out.
Yes.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
So I think we are not in that danger of, you know, like being too big to make sense.
What number would you put it at? Which number is too big?
I think when you're at 50,
yes,
you're too big.
That's too big, isn't it?
Yes.
It's time for you to break it up and have it into proper numbers, isn't it?
I think even if you're 30, it's still too big, because by the time the 10th person says something.
What? That's like 1 hour down the line.
Yes. It's time for people to leave.
Yes. Yeah. All right. Now, mysteries about reading. They say you can read, or you should read anything. that comes your way.
Yes.
Can you be a specific type of reader who says I can never touch this various genre or topics?
Yeah.
Yes.
You could, but I think it's your loss. I agree with what you said earlier, that yes, you should read as widely as possible.
Yes.
Because the world is big, and how will you know what is out there if you're already limiting yourself into saying, I don't read X, I can't touch Y.
Yes.
I think you should try and read as widely as possible, as much as possible. And then once you find what resonates with you, then you can know, okay, fine, this is my comfort. This is my comfort niche. And then once in a while, when you need comfort, you can always read there. But every other time, just try and throw yourself out of the comfort.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think for everybody, again, listening to you this morning, they will be very much interested in knowing how you beat the day when it comes to reading. Yes, we have what? We have 30 days in a month.
Yes.
You have a couple of, you have this book in front of you, you have to clear it.
Yes.
When are the best time when do you read? Because some people struggle to even organize their day. You know, you might think it's easy, let's just read it, but then when do I read?
Yes, that's a very legitimate question, because our lives are naturally very stretched, very busy. And so what I find personally that works for me is to steal pockets of time. So if I'm commuting, that is time that I could be reading.
Yes.
If just a few minutes before sleeping, you know, like just before you feel like you need to sleep, so there you have another maybe 30 minutes. If you're somewhere, you're waiting for an appointment, you're in a waiting room in the reception, you still have another 10-15 minutes where you could flip your pages and get some reading on.
Yes.
So a good way to think about it is, when are you on your phone?
I see.
When are you scrolling social media? That is the time that you could...
That you can actually go in and read.
Yeah.
Are we saying that you should be running away from social media?
No. They both are very important.
Yes.
But if you're struggling with time to read, that's a good indicator for you. Like, when am I able to squeeze in time?
Yes.
When you have time for your phone, like for leisurely scrolling, then that's also time that you can factor in some reading time.
And read as well.
Yeah.
All right. Personal question.
Yes.
How has you been an avid reader there for this one book a month? Those are like 12 books a year.
Yes.
How has it sort of changed you? Do you feel like you're a different person from when you weren't doing this every month?
Yes. There's something that comes with reading books, and I think it's about your world being opened up.
Yes.
So what we do is we try and read across Africa. So currently we are reading a book from Egypt, and previously we read a book from Cameroon, and before that from Tanzania. So what happens is that when you read outside your normal what you interact with daily, which for my case is like Kenyan news, events happening in Kenya, or maybe around the world, which tends to skew towards the Western Europe and America, is that now you open your eyes to think, oh, you know, what happens in Cameroon, what happens in Egypt. Those are not news items that you come across every other day. So it really just opens your world up to an awareness of there's this other big world, and there are other people going through certain issues. And then the other thing is, like, it shows you how universal human experience is. Like, everybody has struggles, everybody has hopes, everybody has dreams, wherever you are in the world. So it just underscores that universality, that yes, we have different circumstances as human beings, but we are all aspire to the same things.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
All right, so talk to me about Somatomy Books. What do you want to be in the next couple years?
Yes.
You launched during the coronavirus season. What do you want it to be? And for somebody who wants to join your club, what can they do as we clear?
Okay, so for us at Somatomy Books, we are very excited for this new step that we've taken. We've opened a branch at the Greenhouse Mall. We are on the ground floor, so when you walk into the Greenhouse Mall, that's on the along Gong Road. We are on the ground floor on the west wing. So we are inviting everybody who who is a book lover or who also thinks that they don't like to read, because I think you've just not found the right book.
Yes.
You've just not found the book for you.
Or somebody to tell you exactly how to find the right book, isn't it?
Precisely.
And that's what you're going to do to them.
Yes, because I believe there's a book for every reader.
Yes.
And yeah, so come to our store, and if you are looking for a community of readers, feel free to join our book club. You can do that on our website, or you can even visit the store and we'll take you through the steps. If you're an author looking to get a distribution out for your book, do contact us as well. Bring a review copy, and we're happy to help you however we are able to. If you're also an author looking to do a signing and to interact with your readers, with your audience, we can host you in our space, and you can do a signing, you can do a meetup. Yes. Pretty much.
Wendy, thank you very much for coming to Metropole Television this morning.
Thank you so much.
Now, you do know, if you want to be an avid reader, that culture that you want, I hoped, yes, that you picked those talking points from Wendy this morning. And if you do want to visit them, then you do know exactly where to go to talk to us as well at Metropole TVKE across all your social media platforms. If you do want to get directly in touch with us as well. We take a short break. Once we come back, Economic Review.